Go. Recording progress. What's up, man?
Hey, how was Halloween?
Halloween is, dude. I'm in the weird part of Halloween. I worked through Halloween, because I am in the part where a lot of my friends my age have kids, and everybody's too old to go and dress up and party. But also, I don't have a kid, so I'm not going out and knocking on doors either.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. First time ever. I didn't do anything for Halloween. Um,
Where do people go to trick or treat in Riesel, Texas?
Man, if you live in town, you better get ready because every kid's coming.
I'm sure. I'm trying to think. Like, where
Yeah,
did the trick or treat? You can't jog from house to house. You get tired.
no, but dude, you know what's great is the small towns we do like hay rides.
Uh,
So like either everybody loads up in like the Polaris or gets a trailer with like hay on it, and everybody just sits on it, and you drive
it's a good
house
time.
to house. It's a good time, man. It's I remember doing it. Like one year I was Joe Dirt, had a mullet and a mop and a cut off
It's
button up.
freaking great.
Oh my god, dude! Talk about. I mean, it was. Let's go.
Did you do
You
lessons
know,
on Halloween?
I did, and this also was the only Halloween I didn't dress up for the kids. So I was gonna do it, and I had everything ready, and I just didn't try on my stuff. I was gonna be Nick Saban, so I could yell,
That's great.
"Drill! Nah,
No, run the route.
it's
Run the route,
cut!
man.
Got anybody in the flat?"
I, I saw that clip yesterday. I always stop and watch that one.
I was gonna
He
give
throws
a
his
speech
hat, and
on
my favorite part, he throws the hat and then walks over and picks it right back up.
Yeah, no, I was gonna give a speech on nothing and bro, but you know what? It didn't work out, and that's okay.
So,
The kids still loved it. We played Halloween music that we monster mashed the whole time.
oh, I I have a big. I guess it's not an issue. Personally, I don't like any sort of holiday music, whether it be Christmas music, Halloween music. I don't like any because I'm kind of
Mariah
a crab.
Mariah Carey. I hear Mariah Carey coming up in within 2 weeks.
The new
I don't want a lot for Christmas. You know what I'm
my
saying?
man, my house is starting to flip from fall to Christmas. It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
decorated your house?
Nah, man, we don't. Carly does a little bit. She bought some fall decor, um, but man, I love our house, but it's so temporary. I hope not. I don't want to say it and not sound grateful because I love that I have a roof over my head and this has been great for us. And my grandparents let us stay here. It's awesome. But also, sometime soon after she gets her own job, and we get some student loans paid off and stuff, we're looking to try to get our own place.
Oh, you don't want
That's
to stay there forever?
Yeah, I mean, this window unit is cooling great, but I would love central air and heat one day.
Yeah.
But it's been good. And you know what? And I know this isn't about baseball, but I think everyone should stay in a house like mine and have to fix it up themselves. And you know, I will never take for granted. There's a couple times in the winter, like my hot water didn't really work, and like my Dearborn heater wasn't on, and it got really cold. I slept the night it froze here. I the toilet water froze. I slept in coveralls, and I will never not be grateful for where I stay again. You know what I mean? Though, like I will
I know.
never.
I hear you. I live there. I totally understand. I totally get
Yeah,
it.
you did, and I just will be forever grateful no matter where we go. I will never have to be like, well, this could be better. I'll just be like, you know what? I'm so happy to be here, land of the free, home of the brave.
That's
And
right.
it's a character thing, man. It's a character thing.
Guys, quick story. When I was staying at Landon's house a couple years ago during the summer, Landon got bit in the ankle by a snake.
I did. I did.
You tried to grab the damn thing. Is that correct?
Well, I don't. Apparently not. I tried to grab it by the tail, and it turned around so fast. The fast.
That
I
could be
mean,
so bad. Yeah,
well, and it
The California kid's not touching the reptile. That's not happening.
was.
That's a good time.
I just wasn't backing down. It's my own turf. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should have punched it.
Well, it got me in the ankle, and they said it was a dry bite. I had two little whop. And they were like, yeah, you would have died, but half of
We
all
were trying
been.
to figure out if you were gonna make it through the night. You're like, is my head hurt? I'm like, oh, how do you
Yeah,
feel?
yeah.
I
I
don't know.
started taking myself out. I didn't go anywhere, but I was like, is my ankle swelling? And it was like a regular. Oh, I got bony ankles, man. So like it was regular.
Dude, them shins are tough.
Yeah.
Let's get into it, man. It is Mechanical Monday, amongst other things. What do you got for us? Mechanical Monday.
Man, okay. I got two. My question is also a little bit mechanical, but also they're both not mechanical, but I think it's important to do. Like this is not where your hands are or how far you step. Where, Jaden Fine, are you looking when you get in the box? Where are you looking with your eyes?
Ooh, this is
Thank
fun.
you.
Wow, what a good question. Where am I looking?
Right.
Kids out there may not know. I subscribe to the viewpoint of a soft focus point and then I guess, a hard focus point.
Absolutely. Hope you're going for that.
Unfortunately, not only I'm sure by you, but even up north, there is a lack of batter's eyes. There's a lack of batter's eyes in this country. And
Yeah.
every field, I would rather have a batter's eye than lights and play at night.
Build that wall. You know what I
Build
mean?
that batter's eye. BTB. Build that batter's eye. Because
Shameless plug.
Tim's plug. We do not sell batter's eyes at Big TB, but anyway, maybe we should. We make a fortune in Texas. I personally find so let's say you're facing a right-handed pitcher, right? I try to softly focus on the big batter's eye behind him, kind of over his right shoulder, the pitcher's right shoulder, or whatever shoulder the pitcher's throwing arms from. As he starts his windup or he comes set, I take my focus from the batter's eye to a more focused focus, I guess, if that makes sense, to his logo. From the logo, as I start my load when the pitcher breaks his hands, and part of it too is doing your homework, knowing where the release point is,
Window.
where his window's at. So I go from the focal point on his head, the logo, to the release point, the window that he's releasing the ball from. But I know that can vary from person to person. I'm curious, what was your little deal?
So I did a little bit of everything. And really until I got to college, I was just looking at them. I was just looking at them. And then when I figured out, I went through a little like thing where I was like, hey, I have to be confident up here and I have to be like the dude who thinks he's going to get a hit. So I went through a stint in college where I was like when I got in, walk up song was playing. I was looking at him and I'd probably look stupid doing it, but in my mind, I was like Mike Tyson, like boxer, like staring him down, like I'm gonna kill you. Uh, and then when he would come set, he'd leg lift, and as soon as his hands started breaking, I would go to the window, right? And it's yeah, I tried to go from like half of the face over because a lot of times the pitchers that come over the top, especially, are like they lean over and then it's still up here, right? So if you can look at like you said, the logo, I guess you're talking about logo of the hat, right?
Yeah, I meant logo. Yeah, logo of the
Yeah.
hat.
Logo of the hat. That's a lot more times than not. That's where the ball's going to come from, unless you get some sidewinders and stuff like that that you just kind of see in warm up. Um, and a lot of people, why I picked this question is topic is because a lot of people don't think about that, and it's important. I think I got much better as I learned where to look. Yeah, so that's kind of what I think. And to spin off of that is like, how do you see break? Like, I think we talked about this on one before, but like you can rerun it. It's just like people say you see a red dot. Okay, maybe if you're in 8U or 10U, great.
Yeah, I never
People
saw that.
say,
That's why I'm sitting here
yeah,
talking.
people say you can see the hand, the wrist, the whatever. Um, what do you think, man? You see the
So
window, you see it come out. What happens?
I think seeing as far as like reading breaking balls and reading spin, I learned later in my career that you as a hitter, you subconsciously make two reads. First read being ball out of the hand, right? And the second read being almost a little bit halfway towards the plate. And I personally believe if you're not on time for that first one, then it's going to be real difficult
Oh
to
yeah.
to see that second read. So, I mean that I don't even know if that's a vision thing. That might be a timing issue helping the vision kind of, obviously that plays an important part of that. But as far as stuff like that, there's if and I think you can practice that too if you're really really focused on it because there's pitchers that no, I mean, knowing your pitcher doing your homework, you'll see guys either, go fastball a little bit lower and then they get really on top of the breaking ball. Or if they throw a bad breaking ball, you can see the pop on it. I mean, I can
Yeah.
remember times in pro ball, you can see guys getting on top of it and trying to spin it. But as far as like, if a guy's on and he's a good pitcher, they're hiding pitches very well. And it's
Yeah.
very difficult to see that. So then I think that goes back to your approach and being on time for that first read. That's tough.
Right.
That's tough.
Yeah. And
I wish that people spoke about this more.
yeah, pitchers, guys, what makes your breaking balls good at the next level and the next level, if they break a lot, absolutely. That's going to make them good. If they're a vast speed difference, and I know a lot of people talk about the triangle, like get a pitch that goes this way and this way and then this way, and you're going to be fine with three different speeds. You'll be the best pitcher ever. I get it. But also, if you watch some of the overlaps from some of these pitchers, like the World Series guys that throw, and it's like their fastball starts here and their changeup starts here, and then it's like that. There's no pop of that, so you're not going to be like, oh, there it is, and so it's just going to look like a fastball. If your changeup looks like a fastball, you got a good changeup. That's it. It is what it is. And so hitters, when you're looking for that, and I said this last time, and I'll say it a different way this time, but like if you talk to any, I don't know, we're in Riesel, let's talk about like a truck guy. Like if you're, a car guy or a truck guy, and he's like, oh, that right there is a Dodge Dart 64 or what. He sees it and it's like, oh, that's a Dodge Dart, and you're like, okay, how? Like what do you? How do you know that? And he goes, it's just how they look. I don't know. He can't give you explanations. If there's like a golden retriever on one side and a wiener dog on the other, and you're like, well, that's the wiener dog because you've seen 9,000 of them. And it's like, well, tell me how that wiener dog's face is supposed to look. They're like, I don't know. They're long,
Yeah,
just like a curveball. After 10,000 curveballs, I see one and I go, that's a curveball. And they go, well, what did you see? And I'm like, well, that's just how they look. It's what they look like. They pop sometimes. I could say that. That's it. And so I really do think, and I'll stand on this for a long time. Yeah, if you're facing somebody throwing 70-mile-an-hour fastball and a 52-mile-an-hour curveball, maybe you'll see a red dot. Some curveballs don't have a red dot. Some sliders don't have a red dot. The hand's moving too fast, guys. You're not going to see Chapman's hand unless you have slow-mo vision. But after, just get in there and see curveballs. Do mixed BP. See them off the machine. Watch them pop. Take live at bats. Because after you get to the 10,000 mark of curveballs seen, you're going to start just being like, well, that's a curveball. You're not going to have to know why. You're just going to know.
yeah. And I mean, I think too, being on time for the fastball will help you recognize breaking balls. If you're
Yeah.
if in between pitches, like if you're not sure what you're looking for, or if you don't have a solid plan and you're looking for a couple, it's going to be tough to cover not only the breaking ball but a fastball. I mean, and like Landon said, you train that, and if you do that in the cage and you're mixing in speeds and BP, it's going to be easier to recognize that stuff.
I think also I tell people as soon as I'm like, all right, let's hit some curveballs, and the kid sucks at it, this is what I tell them, and they instantly get better. So if you watch this podcast, this is worth a $40 lesson on hitting curveballs. So just listen. Every kid I got, when it's time to stand up. There's always one of them. When they see a curveball, the first thing they do when it pops up is go with it. So they get here, and it's like it pops up, and they go, and then it drops down, and they go, and it's not going to work. It doesn't work. So what you do is when you hit a curveball, if you can train yourself to stay down in it, if it stays up there, it's a ball, right? It'll come back down to you. If you stay down and let it come back to you and hit it, you'll hit it much better. If it pops and you pop up, you're already lost. You've lost, So that's huge. I tell every one of my hitters that.
No, I agree with that. It kind of pivoting back to, as you're talking about vision, something that I never did when I played, which I kind of wish I learned before. Did you ever line yourself up to the release point of the pitcher? Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, you know what? I have never even thought of that ever.
So
Learn something new.
my I've talked about my hitting coach, Mike Brumley. He was the GOAT. I hate to name drop, but he just worked with some pretty cool people. He was with Seattle for a long time, the Mariners, and that was when Ichiro was there.
Yeah.
People, I mean, I don't know if kids know who Ichiro is nowadays, but anybody who's above 15 should know the shoulder thing, right? So we
Right.
were talking about this exact thing, lining up, kind of the vision and the lining up part of hitting. And he said, he was like, one day in spring training, he was like, each what is that? Like, why do you just do that to look cool? And he said that when he does that, he's basically, so from his thumb to his back shoulder is a straight line. He was lining up his thumb and his shoulders to the window of the
Oh
pitch.
wow.
So like
See.
if he was facing a lefty, he would line up kind of open towards second base, so he had a clear lane to the baseball. And I was like,
Crazy.
oh my god, makes total sense why this guy's got 3,000 hits. And now
Yeah.
like looking at guys like Corey Seager, when he gets in there, he kind of does the shoulder thing. He's lining himself up.
Yep. Lining
The
himself up.
natural
Yep.
lane.
You're right.
I was like, oh my, I never ever thought of that ever, especially
Well,
left
and
on left. Because in the big leagues, those guys who are like a hater guy who drops it down, if you're closed off, dude, it's going to look like that ball's coming from first base behind
yeah,
you.
you're angle hitting at that point.
And it's
Because
like,
I teach pitchers. I don't know much about pitching. I know a little bit, but I teach pitchers like if you do get over here a little bit, right? You don't want to stand on the left side of the rubber. So now the arm's just right down the middle, and it's like you
right,
want to stand on the side of the rubber, and then it's over here, and the ball's coming in at an angle to you, to the hitter, and it looks scary. Like that's exactly what you want, and that makes a whole lot of sense because I never thought about you kind of control where you stand,
yeah,
and if I guess if you already stand open, you're just going to be more open, and if you already stand closed, you're just going to be kind of even with regular, which is great.
yeah. And I
That's,
guess
that's good stuff. I didn't even think
isn't that
about
great?
that.
I had no, I just thought the Ichiro thing was like, hey, he looks cool. He's Japanese. It's kind of he was lining his shoulders up. And I guess
Yeah,
besides that, hitters and pitchers listening to this, like if you're a pitcher and you see a guy either open or closed off, take advantage of that and like attack the hole. Like if he's open up, then go away, like pound the ball away. If he's in, then maybe get in there, especially if you're like right on right or left on left.
yeah. Do it, man. Do it. That's cool. That's really good.
I never
Really good
thought of
stuff.
that. I mean, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. No, that is cool. That is really cool.
Let's see.
Man, I see that's what I love about the game. Like I've been doing this and not just as a hobby. I have devoted a good part of my professional life to baseball.
Yeah.
Actually, it's all okay, let's be honest. It's all I've ever known. So to hear something that makes sense that I've never heard before after 26 years on earth and about 22 of them playing baseball at some level or another is crazy. Crazy,
Yeah.
and
It is
hey,
weird. Sorry, what were
sorry.
you gonna say?
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it is weird that we play the game for so long, even in professional. We play year and a half, 2 years of professional baseball, and then we learn something that we've never heard before in our entire life, which is like how how is that possible? Why didn't they teach me this when I was 10?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's getting implemented for me for sure. With had some dude, so remember when we were still playing and like Coco Chris taught us how to bunt?
Yes.
I name drop him to all my kids because it was different than I've ever seen it, and I became the best bunter around when I couldn't bunt that well in college. Like I wasn't bad, but I wasn't great. So when we do bunting, we open up and get athletic, and instead of like doing the back foot turn, feet on a board in line. Now
Yeah.
if you're bunting for a hit, it's a little different, but like get athletic and there's so much stuff we could talk about here. But my only point is, so I haven't paid much attention to it. I just knew it worked really well. I've been teaching all the kids to do it, and we don't even bunt that much, honestly. But I was watching the World Series the other day. The Dodgers bunt. And that's how they do it. They opened up, they got athletic. I forgot who the guy was. And his head's down and he gets it down. And he's not doing the traditional, like if you teach people listening who have taught kids how to bunt, getting like a athletic stance. Don't turn the back foot and stand like in line on a board where they're wobbly and trying to bunt. It sucks. If you're bunting for a hit, drop your back foot back. I get it. But like, man, we might have to show that clip or something. I know that makes it harder to edit, but it was huge. It was huge. I was like, oh, yep, there we go. Coco Crisp knows what he's talking about. What a beast.
It's like, first of all, and people of mine, if they listen to this, they'll probably call me a hypocrite because I joke and like kids will joke around. I'll be throwing BP and they'll take like 3 swings and show around a bunt, and I'll say, no, that's stupid. That's boring. Hit the damn ball. Obviously, bunting. If you don't know how to bunt and you're a 3, 4, 5 hole hitter, 1 through 9, learn how to bunt. And if you don't want to bunt because it's boring, or check your ego. Because I'm telling you, if you, my college coach said, if you lay down 3 successful bunt hits, 3 or 4 successful bunt hits a year, you'll raise your average.
Oh,
30,
huge.
40 points. And just from a selfish perspective, that's awesome, 30 points. And from a team, not only from a team perspective, and you're going to get better pitches to hit.
Yeah.
They're going to pitch you differently, and the defense is going to be positioned in a different spot just because they know that you're a bunt threat. And you can be fat and slow and put down a good bunt and leg out hits. That's a huge point that people need to understand. I laid down bunt hits in college. I was hitting.
Yeah. Some of my best, dude, there's 2 types of people. I got 9 things to talk about now. Sorry. 2 types of people. There's people who set the table and there's people who clean it up, right? I was a 3-hole my whole college career, except for a couple games. I was cleaning the table, right? Now, the best games I ever played, I like rocketed a double down the third base line and then hit a homer to left field. And then that guy is playing on the grass. He's so like back grass, outfield grass. He's so nervous. And then I dropped down a bunt for my 3rd hit of the game, and people are like, "Huh, this guy like bunting after hitting a home run." But all I'm thinking is 3 for 3, baby. Let's go. Let's go. And that's huge. That helped me so much.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to sacrifice bunt. Like if you play for me, it almost doesn't matter who you are. If we're in a tight game and it's, first and second, nobody out, you're probably bunting, but it's just how it has to be. Like if it's 3-4 and this pitcher's throwing good and we're going to bunt, and that's fine. And I get what you're saying too, because you got to be like wanting to hit. One more thing with this, and I think this is huge too. I haven't thought about this in forever, and you've probably noticed me do it, and I never said anything about it, but every time I had to get good at it, it took some time, and this is a great story, by the way, not to hype myself up, but my college coach, Skip, told me if they pick off, if the team you're going against picks off, sometimes they pick off to see if you'll show a bunt or if you're bunting or what you're doing or give themselves time to think about what's going on. So why not? I don't know if he knew this or just thought about it, and I was the only one that did it. But he's like, why not just do that? Like, be like, oh, shit. Oh, sorry. So get that out of there. But why not be like fake a bunt a little bit and then pull it back? Because maybe somebody will see that and they'll adjust positioning and you'll get a hit. He's like, everybody plays back on you, man. You're not slow, but you're not that fast. Everybody plays way back because you hit the ball hard. Show it and see what happens. I did it. I've probably done it 100 times. It worked out one time when we were playing Trinity in San Antonio. But like it took me some time to get good at it too. So I'd be up here. In the first like 20 times I even thought about it, they would pick off and I wouldn't even think about anything. I'd be like, oh man, I forgot. But slowly I started doing it. And I did it through pro ball too, but nothing ever came of it. But like I would be up here and at first like he'd pick off and I'd be like, and the catcher was like, he'd be like, that's too much. Like the umpire even was like, hey, but like, I see what you're doing, but that's too much. Like nobody's faking a bunt like that. And, or like messing up that bad. He was like,
yeah,
you play first, you're 3-hole, you're not that dumb. And so I started moving my top hand just a little bit. So I'd be here, pick off the second, I'd go. And then finally, we played one of the best catchers I've ever played from Trinity. I think he was an All-American. and he calls out a bunt coverage, and I mumble under my breath, like they pick off the second or first or whatever, and I go, and he calls out a bunt coverage. Third baseman moves all the way up. I get ready. I happen to rip one down the third base line, and it would have been out, and I got a hit out of it. And I can't believe, and that was 100 times. It worked once. But like kids, why not? If they pick off, just move that hand and be like, oops, I let the cat out of the bag there. And then it's like they're changing positions, so you have better chances to get a hit. It's great.
You got to have some feel. This is part of the game. And then, like, this happens in base running too, a lot, obviously. Have a little bit of feel, just like be an actor or something. Like, don't get weird.
Yeah.
A little bit. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Bunt coverage. Double.
Yes. I might have a clip of it, actually. I need to try to work.
He's not talking about 3-0.
Yeah, don't.
This, I can't stand that.
You know what else I can't stand? My kids are not allowed to clap on the bases.
God, that's so lame.
I like dude, I like, oh, I'm like, dude, we don't do that. Don't do that. You know, we don't. There's a couple things we just don't do. That's one of them. We also don't do chants in the dugout.
Good.
We don't play softball.
Do you have a kind of related, kind of unrelated? Do you make your after a strikeout or whatever, one of your guys strikes out, do you make them run back or do you make them walk back?
You know, I haven't. This is hard. There's. Oh my gosh, we're gonna get into it because there's a couple things. They should be walking back, right? But it's hard to tell, like, especially if they're way younger, 8, 9. They just don't know yet, and all they know is I'm gonna get on them if they don't hustle on the field. So some of them do. Kids, if you strike out, you should be walking back to the dugout.
Yeah. In high school, I remember with GBG, our travel team in the fall, we wouldn't play other teams because we had 2 or 3 3 or 4 actually different teams in our age group. So on Sundays, we would go play like a big scrimmage game in LA area. And Michael Garcia Parra, the guy who was in charge of our program, the head guy, he played professional baseball. He was a scout for the Cardinals. His brother was Nomar Garcia Parra, by the way. His brother was Nomar. And I remember there was a guy on our team. I'll never forget it. It was the greatest thing. Probably 14 years old. Kid strikes out, jogs back to the dugout. And Mike was on first. He was coaching first base. And in front of everybody, he's like, hey, no. Jogged across the field because it's his game. Like, he's paying for all the runs across the field and goes, don't you ever run back to the dugout. He's like, okay, sorry, coach. He's like, what does that send to the other team? Are you scared? Are you scared? He's like, if you run back to the dugout in a game, I will take you out and sit you myself. And everybody's like, okay, wow. And nobody did that. Nobody did that. There's not like anything bad about it. It's just like it's just one of those things in the game where you just don't do that.
It's what you don't do, right? Because you're supposed to want to be in the box, right? So like you strike out, you don't want to show anybody up, but you don't want to take off out of that box like, ooh, thank goodness I'm getting out of there. You want to be like, man, this was my box, man. Like I'm leaving, I'm vacating my home, dude. Let's go. I shouldn't be doing this.
There's something funny about me thinking about like Mike Trout punching or Aaron Judge striking out and then jogging back to the dugout. There's something funny about that in my mind. Bring back jogging back to the dugout after a strikeout.
Do not. Also, guys, if you hit a foul ball, this happened the other day, and I was trying to explain it. And you try to coach, but like there's so much going on in the little league game or a select game that you need to coach. I missed it, and so we hit a long foul ball. The kid's like rounding first, like it was a huge one, and it was like a late call on a foul ball. It hit off the left fielder's glove. He was like rounding first, and so then he just sprinted all the way to almost second, and then he's like jogging back, and I'm like, hey, it's your at bat, like slow down. And he's like, what? Like I'm just getting back in the box, and he jumps back in there, and he's like ready, and now he's breathing hard, and it's like if you hit a foul ball, not like when you foul straight back and you don't have to run on. If you hit one and you run down to first base, walk back to the box because it's your at bat. You don't need to be breathing hard. You don't need to be tired. Your heart doesn't need to be racing more than it already is. It's your at bat, right? So hit the foul ball, run it out. If it comes up foul and you already ran past first base, go back, walk back, and then get in there because it's your at bat. Like, don't let them rush you.
Yeah. And there's like, this is stuff that you either learn from somebody who's played, or another great thing, if you're a kid and you go to a high school game or a high level high school game, or if you have brothers and sisters that play select baseball, or if you watch college baseball when that starts up in the spring, pay attention. Like, obviously everybody's watching to see if they hit the ball, but I'm sure as you do as well, you watch how the game go, and like you pick up on like baseball plays.
It's a curse too, yeah.
Like, I'm everybody in the stands is cheering about a base hit, but I'm excited about the right fielder Mookie making a good play on a baseball to keep the guy at second base, or to keep the guy at first base, and then the pitcher gets a ground ball. That's something that you learn watching hours and hours and hours of baseball and playing at a high level. You just pick up on this stuff, and it's just basically by osmosis, where you absorb it and then you do it in the game.
If you watch that, kids, like, almost nothing is by accident. So like, it almost everything is on purpose. Like, if you got a hitter that comes up and every time he's chewing gum, he's just like, I got a big piece of gum in my mouth and I'm chewing it, and he's smacking on it in the box. I'm almost willing to bet, if it's every time, that it's not because he likes gum. It's because when you eat, your mind tells you to relax. So when you chew gum, it emulates eating, which in turn relaxes you.
Yeah.
So it's like, people chew gum to relax. Almost everything is planned. And that's why this game is so fun. When you run and when you don't run, where you back up, if outfielders are taking you've seen them field ground balls off to the side of one leg, and seen them field ground balls one knee down. Depends on if there's going to be a play made or not, because they're trying to keep the ball in front. There is times when people swing it. One of the funniest times ever, and when my mom realized that she wasn't as baseball IQ as she thought. Like, I swung at a bad pitch, and she was like, "Oh, he swung at a horrible pitch," and she let out a, "What are you doing?" And I was like 13. She's like, "What are you doing?" And she's the one taking me to all the practices and stuff, so she has a right, I guess. But it was a hit and run, right? So you have to swing. So like, it gets to a point where you even don't know what's going on, and you need to ask questions before, because if you don't know what a hit and run is, you steal, and the hitter has to swing to try to hit it on the ground. And so, like, sometimes it's just stuff you don't realize that's going on is going on. You have to swing. You have to. So you're like swinging, and it's something else, dude. It's all crazy.
Baseball's funny. You're eight. We have 3 minutes left. We probably have to break. Do you remember a name Cade Cavalli?
Yes.
I have a bunt single off him on a Friday night game in Oklahoma.
Oh, it's in college.
This is in college.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good guy to get a bunt hit off of, because
he actually got a W off. We sneaked out a 1-run win on a Friday against Cade, which like makes no sense. We were by far the worst team, and he was like up to 100.
Mm-hmm.
I was hitting like 8th or 7th or something as a little sophomore, and Skipper was like, "Hey."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And actually, I might have to pull up a clip. In the video, he threw a fastball in 98, and I hit it. I bunted it, and it jumped. I hit it and backwards. I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, shoot. And started running. I was like, safe, let's go.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's
great.
Awesome. And kids, you probably should learn how to bunt before you get into the game. We were practicing that, but if you're not like practicing bunting and you get into a game, if you're a high school kid and you're facing a guy throwing 100, the chances are you're not going to touch the ball. Bunting's hard, especially when guys are trying to get you out. So practice that. Can we break?
Starting it?
We start.
Yeah.
All right.
We're back.
We're back. We have to, right? Paid sponsors, ad break. Guys, that's Coach Landon Dietrich. That's a Barrel Factory hat. He's in beautiful Waco, Texas. Well, Riesel, to be specific. Guys, if you are in Texas, go to the Barrel Factory. I'm telling you, it's freaking sweet. Coach Landon's there. He's got his beard back, kind of. He's got a bunch of lanes. He's got a field back there. He's got the weight room. It's freaking sweet. And I'm so proud of
Thank
my
you.
friend.
Hey, before I plug you or you plug you in, if you are one of Jaden's people listening, go to the website and see if you can sign up. And just all you got to do is text Jaden how easy it is, because that's what dude. I'm all right hitting coach, but like technology is like hard. So yeah, plug it in. Uh, Barrel Factory upper hand. It'll come up. Check it out. See what I need to do, because like I want to make it easy on the people. You don't have to rent a cage. Just check it out. See if you can sign in. See if
And
you
I
can
have
sign in.
I have clients up here who just want to say hi. You've
Yeah,
got
dude,
some
I'm
celebrity now. You're a celeb.
dude. Yeah, no, your boy's coming. I can't wait. This Friday. He,
So cool, man.
you know what? He DM'd me and he was like, "Hey, what's the address to the place?" And I'm not friends with them yet on Facebook, so I was like, am I missing? Like, did somebody sign up for a lesson? I don't know. And I was like panicking. And then I saw like that's who it was. So I'm excited, man. He's gonna come check it out.
You're gonna have to kick Jagger out. By the way, his dad sent me his stats last night. Jagger plug, sorry. He hit 550 this fall.
Bro, does Jagger know we have tryouts in a couple weeks?
You can tell. I keep telling him.
How old is he again?
11?
Dude, we got an 11 majors team and a AAA.
Yeah, and he plays everywhere. So, um, I'll tell. I think I seen him this week. Yeah, they're going down to Austin this week. This next weekend. Um, if you're looking for online lessons, Jaden find BTB.
Check it
That's
out.
cool. I think I'm decent. Maybe not. I don't know.
Pretty good. If you're not, if it doesn't come out of me or Jaden's mouth, it's wrong, by the way.
Yep, that is true. Now, I'm not certain about a lot of stuff, but that right there, true. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Justin right there. Our executive producer. Guys, you know what time it is? It's question time. And I'm gonna go first because Landon told me to.
Yeah.
Little anecdote for you. I have a kid, high school kid. His dad played at Baylor. He goes to Argyle. He wants to be the best.
I love
He
it.
he hurt his arm. The doctor said that he can't do upper body, so he told him he could do legs. He's like, okay, hold my beer. I'm gonna do legs until I look like a centaur. So now he's one of the fastest guys in not only baseball program but the track program. He's strong AF. He's swinging every day. He's putting in work. He's gotten so much better. The only problem is that his solution to his issues and getting better is more swings. And I'm talking like 300 swings a day, 7 days a week. Now, I wanted to get your thoughts on it, but I think 60 swings under control with a purpose and a plan may be a better bang for your buck value from an improvement standpoint versus the 400 swings a day. But I want to hear your opinion first before we get into
How
it.
old is this kid?
15.
Okay, cool. So man, this is speaking my language because this is who I was. I was that kid, to a T. Except my dad didn't play at Baylor. Well, that's cool though. Anyway, like, dude, I wanted the most swings. I wanted to work as hard as possible. I will say, what's his name one more time? Sorry, I missed it.
Bruno.
Bruno. So, like, dude, here's the deal: is like, I was the same guy. I did do much better when I focused my work. Um, so, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't stop swinging. Like, here's the thing: you're 15, okay? You're not going to get drafted tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Hopefully one day, absolutely. But like, um, is it fun for you? If the answer is yes, and you go there like me, and and like that's what you choose to do, like you would rather not sit around and you would rather do it, then do it. But do it knowing what you're working on. I just want to say, like, cage bombs mean nothing if you're doing something wrong. So, like, when you send these videos, is he online or in person?
He's in person.
In person, Bruno. Let's clean that up, by the way. Um, when you when you get a feel, this is how you make this work. When you get a feel from Jaden, you should come back the next week and it should be like already ingrained to where you don't even have to think about it. So like when I got better, when I was worse, I just hit 900 cage bombs a day and I was like, okay, I feel good.
Yeah.
When I got better, I noticed I was long. And so I put the ball, inside and try to stay inside of it with a bent front arm. And I did that 200 times. And I had no cage bombs. I had 150 ground balls or low line drives to the right side. And it was like, that's when I got better. So just focus your work because, like, the heart you have for it and the want to get better, that's what's going to make you good. But you're going to be a much better player as well when it doesn't matter as much to you because I'm sure you're one of those guys that struggles because you just care so much. And that was me too. But if you can just know that, like, it's just ball, you're going to be much better. That's
Yeah.
hard to do. If you figure it out, let me know because I didn't figure it out till, they told me I broke a wrist and they said I'm probably going to get released by next month. And then I hit like 4 bombs with a broke wrist because I just didn't care. I was just like, I'm gonna have as much fun as I can with my boys. And then I just went off.
It's funny that you hit the hammer on the head of the nail perfectly. He is a overanalyzer.
Yeah, I mean, I had those
He's
moments.
always thinking, and not only from a being a productive work session, like not taking 1,000 swings. His back is starting to hurt and be sore. So my thing is like, if his goal is play professional baseball, when we were in pro ball, I mean, we took a lot of swings, but we didn't take 200 BP swings a day, right?
Yeah,
No,
no.
maybe I mean maybe we
Yeah,
I
well,
can't remember, maybe over 100, but every swing mattered. Like every swing that we took
that's
in early work was under control, and rounds of BP on the field, we got 3 or 4 rounds of 7 or whatever it was. But
yeah,
just like from a time and two, I mean, in pro ball, at least in spring training, even during the season, you have a certain amount of time to get your work in.
yeah,
You have 20 minutes, maybe with 3 or 4 other guys in a hitting group. You got to figure out a routine that works and that it's going to get you prepared to play and that it's quick and concise.
right.
Concise.
And Bruno, be like, if don't, and for you too, Jaden. I don't know because I haven't coached super long, but I feel like this because I have a guy like that. Briar Breton's like that. Just has to be perfect, has to be perfect. And you know him. Don't take that from him because that's what's going to be good. I was that way. I'm sure you were probably close to that way too. And I used to do worse because I cared so much about it. I wanted to do good so bad. Um, it made me worse, but that's also what made me good. If I
Right.
didn't have that, I wouldn't have been as good. So when in your training, Bruno, I know you wake up every morning and you go, how can I get better today? A lot of times the answer is stuff you don't want to do. So like for me, I tried to up my game every single year. So like when I was in college, I started hitting every day and I just hit for hours every day. And then like towards the middle of my freshman year, I realized that like that's not going to get it done. I got to get in the weight room, even though it was something I didn't necessarily want to do. I did that every day, and not every day. Body needs to rest. I get it, but that's what I did. That was my next step. So now I was like hitting and weight room, and then when I got to like my junior year, I was like, this isn't. I'm not fast enough. I got to get faster. And I hear you're already fast, which is good. But that was the next step on mine. And it was something I didn't want to do. I don't want to go out there and run sprints and do like these A skips, B skips. It sucked. I didn't want to do it. It's cold. I don't want to do it. But I did it. Then I noticed like if I'm going to keep this up, I have to have an elite diet. Like my diet has to be psh, 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 right. And then my last year, I was like, if I'm going to play, I have to be super flexible. Like I have to get better at stretching. Those, I love hitting. I came to love working out, but like sprints, diet, flexibility were all things that I just didn't really want to do. And that's what makes it hard work too. So like if you got something you're lacking in, which if your back's hurting, could be a flexibility thing. Sounds like you're already fast, you already hit bombs, you're already really strong in the weight room. I'm sure your diet's fine. I would say make sure you're very flexible. Start stretching at night, yoga, whatever it is. And then also, one thing I didn't do as well, but you might hate to hear this, but the thing you might need to do better is your grades, man. Like how good of a student are you? So like if you go and you want to sign to play Baylor like dad, But this kid I'm training over here, who's also 15, wants to do the same thing. And he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he hits, but he's got a 4.0 and you've got a 3.5. You're getting booted, man. And my kid's going. And so that's your thing, is like, do stuff you don't want to do, because hitting's fun. And I'm sure you like it like I like it, but train stuff you don't really want to train. Be like David Goggins.
Yeah, important. That's the good stuff. Yeah. What do you got, dude? What's your question?
Man, last one, and we'll get out of here. Do you choke up with 2 strikes?
Dude, I choked up no strikes. I choked up no strikes, no balls, dude. First pitch of the AB. No, and
Yeah.
actually, yeah. Why not? I mean, what I hit homers with 2 strikes, choked up. Barrel
Yeah.
control. Your only goal with 2 strikes is not to punch out.
Yeah.
So,
Anything else on that? I got some stuff, but
I mean, I'm a huge advocate of that, and I have guys that won't do it. They refuse to because it's an ego thing, like
yeah.
weenies choke up. I don't know if you know a guy named Corey Seager, but he chokes up like 3 inches
Yeah.
from the rip. So it's, I mean, especially with 2 strikes, man. Especially if the game's on the line, if there's a situation that you have to compete in and get a job done. I not only did I go choked up 2 strikes, I no strode, and then in the pro ball I didn't no strode. I went smaller stride, but man, are you saying just 2 strikes, or how do I feel
No,
about?
man, I was just saying, like, what is your feel? Because I got kids who like doing it, I got kids that don't, and I made a rule you have to, and it's like, but man, I feel a certain way about it because I hit more home runs with 2 strikes than any other count, right? And kids, if shortening up, we talked about, I think, like the first pod, we talked about the longer your swing, the harder you're going to hit it. If you hit it, the shorter your swing, it might lose a little pop, but also you're going to have much more time to contact better. You're going to hit the ball better, see the ball better, hit it off the barrel more. If that wasn't true, there would be no such thing as a 2-strike approach, and there would be no such thing as a, that's a 2-0 swing there. Everybody knows what it is. And so knowing the difference in that, but I think, man, when I choked up, I couldn't tell you if it, I mean, I'm sure it gave me a little bit of back control, but I couldn't tell you if it helped me. And when I spread out, because I spread out too, I don't know how much that changed what I did, other than like gave me a mindset of like, this is what I'm doing, right? Shameless plug for the Lord. I wear the cross on my neck. It doesn't really make me a better Christian, but I know why it's there, And so like it like, it's a reminder. When I choked up, it was like a reminder that I'm like, hey, I'm here to put the ball in play.
Right.
So it was like I had some other, people. Nah, I'm not gonna say it. I love it.
Funny story. Same to that point. I remember in college, my junior year, the fall season. It was during COVID, and we had limited at bats, and I was hurt, and I was sucking really bad. I was like 1 for 12. I had like 7. I literally every time I got in there, I struck out. Like I could not hit the ball. And I remember earlier in the fall, before COVID and stuff happened, coach was like, "Hey, you're going to be a guy in the middle of the order this year, or we want you to drive the baseball, yada, yada, yada." So I bought into all that, got too big, and then I just couldn't hit the ball. So I remember very, very vividly going, you know what, dude, screw this, man. I'm just going to go, I'm going to start 0-0 2-strike approach, because you
Yeah.
were saying that totally flipped your mindset. And I remember it was a 0-0 count, and a big old lefty, 6'6" lefty on the mound, and he was a big sinker guy. Not a lot of velo, but it was like 90, 91, but sinker. And he tried to sink a ball off the plate. And if I'm not in no stride, choked up, I don't hit the ball. He sinks a ball, first pitch, I smoke a ball on head high line drive with backspin over the second baseman's head, and it like clicked. I was like, whoa. I was like, I'm just gonna do this. Why not go no stride the whole time? Ended up hitting 389 on the year. I didn't leg kick one time. So I'm not saying everybody should go to a leg kick, but I'm saying add that tool to your toolbox, where if you're sucking, or if you're feeling like garbage, or if you're in a stadium and the sun is in your face, or there's shadows and you're at a disadvantage, go use that tool, go to a two-strike approach, not a two-strike approach, but shorten your stride,
Right.
choke up just to compete. That's
Yeah.
because it makes it simple and it puts more emphasis on competing in the box and being a hitter versus, relying on timing or getting too big. It helped me a ton.
Yeah, man. I think that's huge. I really do. It's good stuff. Helped me as well.
We didn't have to choke up in professional baseball, did we? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
we did. I was told absolutely, and they were like, until you get to the big leagues, you're choking up. But also, I saw those guys in the big leagues choking up, and I'm like, dude, why don't? I mean, why don't I? You know. So I did it, and I hit more home runs with two strikes because I was tired of the baseball and just trying to make sure and square it up right in the middle. And I wasn't trying to do too much, and it was great, man.
And
It was
first
great.
world,
Sorry,
sorry, what were you gonna say?
you go.
I was gonna say first world professional baseball player problems. I remember I picked up Brady House's bat in spring training, and I was like, I need this. It was like a
Mm,
33 and a half, 31, the J143M, the old Hickory, the ones that I got. So I got
yeah,
his exact size, his exact model. And I remember I would go all the way down, like to the knob, just like I normally did. And I would beat on everything. And I was like, oh no. And as a minor leaguer, you're not getting another set of bats, dude. Hey, you're going to get those, you're going to use those bats that you ordered. Like it is what it
yeah,
is. So like just I had to choke up because I couldn't swing the damn thing. It was like a boat paddle. Out of
yeah.
necessity, I had to choke up just to get the barrel to the ball.
Yeah. Last question too. And my kids are gonna laugh at this. Uh, you did you swing 3-0 in your career ever at all? Do you?
um, when I had, yes, I did. When I had free reign to do it in college, you were there for one of the best 3-0 swings of my entire life. Do you remember
Oh
this?
yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that in the question, but I remember it now.
What a mess. I'd say this. I subscribe to an aggressive offensive mindset. However, if your coach has a rule for you,
Right.
follow that. Like follow that. Um, should I get into the story really quick?
I mean, I have time if you have time.
I have time.
Yeah, go.
Fall game. We were not a fall game. It was professional baseball. We were playing a game. We were up what 6?
6-1. I mean, maybe 6-1, 6-2, maybe.
So like it was later in the ball game. It was probably the 7th inning. We were up 5, 6 runs. And it was like a runner on first and second, and it was like a 3-0 count. And this guy couldn't find the zone, and I was like, dude, I'm ready to go. And I was locked in. And every team, and this is why you got to pay attention day one. And as a coach, if you're coaching, establish these ground rules so everybody understands. And again, it was my fault. I should have known what Garber's rule was. However, in college we had a different rule. In upper then low A we had a different rule. In rookie ball we had a different rule. So understand when your coach wants you to take hacks. So I go up 3-0 in the count, runners in scoring position. I'm like, I'm jumping a fastball. And the only thing on my mind was I'm hitting a double. Sure enough, fastball middle, smoke a double in the gap. One of my most best swings of the year. Hit a ball in the gap, 2-run score. I remember getting the second. I was like, "Oh, awesome, let's go!" And I took my elbow guard off, and I remember jogging to Garber at third.
Always
And,
mad.
oh, dude! And they were taking the pitcher out, and he goes, "I was like, hey, man, that's." And I went to give him a nux, and he was like, "You know, you were supposed to take, right?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "We take in this league," and he turned around and walked away. And I remember turning to the dugout, and you and Cootsy and Quaid were all laughing at me because I
Yeah.
literally smoked. I hit it like
I
100,
love it for you. Yeah.
and we were only up 5, but the rule was don't swing. And
Yeah.
he was so mad. And I remember he kept bringing it up, like the game got banged, and
Yeah. We
and
rained out.
up in the clubhouse, and I was like, oh.
Brought it up again.
But shouldn't have swung. But
And I
hey,
think,
RBI double. Sorry about
yeah,
that.
I think he gave it to you, but I don't. I think you weren't looking, and he was looking away or something. Because anyway, yeah, no. So I was told early. I didn't really swing at him much in college because we got takes, even though my coach would sometimes give me like a, hey, you like it, I like it. And so I would take yaks. But in pro ball, I swung at like 8 out of 9 of them. 3-0 counts, because somebody told me before I went, it was one of those like, hey, when you go, here's my advice. You can't walk to the big leagues.
Right.
You got to hit your way there. And so it stuck with me. And I didn't walk as much as I probably should have, honestly, because it can help your average. But it didn't matter what the count was. I didn't want to walk. Even if it was 3-2, I was like, dude, I want to hit. And so, dude, I hit like 3 bombs with it. But also like I swung through one and then ended up striking out, which was embarrassing. I fouled a couple back. I got a couple more hits. I flew out a couple times. But like, there's rules to it. Just make sure you're early. Make sure it's a fastball and make sure you're early, because if you miss it, it needs to be foul to the left side or a home run. It doesn't need to be a weak ground ball because you're late on 3-0. But man, no, I was a swinger, and I was a 3-0. I was swinging pitches, and
Yeah,
and am I red? Am I turning red? This is blank. And dude, I swear you would love playing for my org, because you know which kids I give the swing on 3-0 now? The kids who are struggling. If you're struggling,
Come on, man.
you're getting hey, if you like it, I like it. Now, if the game's tight on the line, certain circumstances dictate what's going on. But like, if I believe in you, if you're on my team, I obviously believe in you, right? And so if I believe in you and you're struggling a little bit, and we're up 6-0, and this game is a tournament at Waco Riverbend, and I think it's only there to make you better, dude. If you're struggling, you're hitting 3-0, and if that's what gets you out of the funk, that's what's going to get you out of funk. But I want the kids to know that, like, dude, I believe in you, like this, and they don't know what it means. They just know they're allowed to swing or they're not allowed to swing. But hopefully, somewhere they hit a absolute rocket, and they're like, this guy, I get what it means. He believes in me. I need to do this thing. And that would be great if anybody recognized that. I don't know if they do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's man. I would love to play for that. And that was some of the best teams I ever played on. Coach was like, hey,
Yeah.
and then if the game, the game dictates that
Yeah.
listen to your coach though, then you get in deep trouble.
There's reasons behind everything, I promise. Right. Yeah. Like, and anyway, yeah. So no, kids, if your coach lets you 3-0, if he thinks you're a good enough hitter to get a green light 3-0, it better be a good pitch. You better smash it. You don't want to roll over 3-0, especially runners on base.
Like, get beat 3-0. That's lame, dude.
Get it out front. I mean, you got to be ready to eat, dude. Anyway.
That's good stuff, man.
What's good? What
were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say this was good stuff. I liked it today.
Good stuff. Yeah. Are you working today?
Yeah, I'm working today. I got a lot to do today, man. I was on my little brother's bachelor party this weekend. We went to Oklahoma, stayed around, didn't do too much. But regardless, if you're on a trip and you come back, like, you got stuff to do. So got to unpack. I got to, put the golf clubs up.
Oh boy.
Yeah. What about you? What are you working?
I'm working today. It's my dad's birthday, so I'm cutting out early. We're gonna go get some food.
Happy birthday, Mr. Fine.
Happy birthday, Mr. Fine. I'm sure he thanks you. You never met my dad, haven't you?
I haven't, man.
He needs to come down and see the factory one of these days.
Man, I would love to have y'all come. Oh, I'm thinking about doing my friend, Jarrett, obviously, but his cousin Garrett and his dad Jimmy, they are in San Antonio with the facility, and they do a hit night. And so it's like an hour and a half, $20. You come, and like you got tees, a guy flipping, a guy throwing live, and 2 machines or whatever. And it's just like, you just get to hit. Like, the facility is closed off except to people who come and pay this $20 to hit. So they come and just get after it. And there's no limit of swings. There's no anything like that. And so I think on like Thursdays, I'm about to start doing a hit night. Just so like, yeah, just get a couple guys to flip, and like, we'll probably do like hitting off the machine off the hit tracks. So everybody will get to see their numbers off the hit tracks for $20, which is a great deal in itself. There could be 100 kids there. There could be 5. I don't know. And then we'll probably do like another machine and a flip. And then on the other side, we'll just do mass ground balls. So like when they come in, it'll be like, you guys get to decide what you're doing right now. Like, this is not, we're not here to coach you. I'll give tips where I can, but like, we're not here to coach you. We're just here to get reps. So like, if you're under 13, come
Great
like
idea.
mass ground balls, and you just go until you're good, and then hit in the cage off a machine, off a tee, rotate where you want to rotate, get the swings where you want to get them, work on what you want to work on. It probably go for an hour and a half. And if it's like you want to leave early, like if you hit for 45 and you're like, I'm good, just get out of there. Just go and do your thing. And if we did that every week, like I think that's pretty cool, you
That's
know.
fun, man. That's a good time. Throwing some Latin tunes. Everybody's got good vibes going on. I love that.
Yeah. And you know, the hope is get a bunch of kids in there, and it's like even different teams, man. Like there's been kids from like other teams coming to the facility to get lessons with a couple of the other guys that give lessons at the facility, and it's like so fun because like one kid literally on Sunday night he played third base and I was the third base coach. I'd never seen this kid before, but I did notice he was a talker. Like he talked up this and talked up that, and he was like, "Hey, this is our bunt coverage. Hey, this is what we're doing when we get the balls." Like I kind of like this kid. I even told my team, I was like, "Y'all check this kid out. He plays the game the right way. Ran hard. There was a fly ball, and he was like running hard the whole way and didn't stop till he got all the way to the plate." Anyway, I just remember being like, "I like this kid." He also wore us out. He was like hitting well, played good. We ended up losing in the last inning by one. I go to the facility Monday, and Dub Kill goes up there giving lessons, and he just started. His first lesson is this kid that just finished beating us. And like I was just like, "Hey, you're not allowed in here." And he's like, "What?" What? He's 12 or 11. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Nah, dude, not after last night. Like, get out of here." And it was just awesome. And like, you know, Dub was like, "Yeah, we're training." He's like, "I'm training half of your guys to beat them and half of their guys to beat you." And I was like, won't that be a great game too? Man, you love it. You gotta love advancing the game.
That's how it works in pro ball too, guys. Hitting coaches, if there's an organizational hitting coach that works with, let's say, the Blue Jays and the off season, that guy will work with guys in other organizations unless they have some sort of contractual obligation. But
Right.
it's how it works. Baseball's very cordial. Everybody's cool. Everybody's trying to be good. You know.
Dude, I give lessons to people on other teams, man. You don't
Yeah.
got to play for me to. I give lessons to people who've been with me for a long time. That's pretty much how you get in with me, is have been with me for a long time, because I still have the same guys for the past 3 years until they start graduating. And so, like, dude, some of these kids play on different teams, and I play against them on the weekends. Talk about. I know this is going longer than we expected, but talk about like an awkward situation is like, if I know I'm playing your team, I don't know what to do, because hopefully if you hit with me, you're good, right? Like we played a kid named Trip Egbert in 15-year-old summer ball, and I'm his hitting coach, but I'm coaching my own team and he's on the other team. And so like we want to win. Well, he's hitting 3-hole and he blasts 2 baseballs on us. And I'm like, dang, like I'm glad.
Yeah.
But then again, like we want to win. So in an ideal situation, like he hits good and then we win the game. Anyway, he comes up with like bases loaded and a chance to win the game. And I am just going through this crisis because, like, one, I give this kid hitting lessons, right? I want him to hit well, but like, my team's not about to lose. I'm way too competitive. So what I ended up doing is I'm trying my best to treat it like any other kid. Like if it was some other random kid, what would I do? Because I thought about walking him because we were up by 2, and I thought about walking a run in. And but like the hitting coach in me says we want this kid to try to hit, and so I do a mound visit, and I'm like telling him what pitches to throw this kid. Like that sounds bad, but I'm like, dude, he's worse at this, better at this. And I felt weird about even doing that, but like, hey. And then I'm like staring back at him, like I'm looking at him, and he's just staring me down, like looking at me like, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna see you on Tuesday. Like, take it easy. And so I'm mound visiting for like way too long and like icing him. I forgot what even happened. I know we ended up winning the game, but I think he tied it and then we had to win in extras or something. But like that was such a weird thing. But like, dude, it's just for the advancement of the game. Like you don't have to. If you are somewhere you like to be, if you're with the team that you like, there's not many of them that are good out there. And if you're with a good one, stay with them, man. And that's from the owner of a different organization. If you like where you're going and where you are, and they like you,
Stay. Why not?
grass isn't always greener, man.
Right.
Except you, Jagger. You got to come over.
Hey, I don't have to deal with this issue. I'm independent. I'm independently contracted. I don't want everybody to win.
Yeah, until Barrel Factory North starts whenever you're ready.
Oh, here we go. All right, bro. Let's go. Go do your thing. Unpack. And I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Love you, man. See you later.
Love you. Bye.